Hi there, Mark Setch here. We all love a good story, don't we? Whether it be through reading a novel, watching a movie, or just listening to someone who can spin a really good yarn, we love a good story. A good story can inspire us, motivate us, change our state, influence sometimes what we believe or how we act. Stories are very powerful. And so it is with the story of our life, or the stories that undergird our life. In fact, the experts tell us that we create memory structures around those stories, and we're far more likely to act out of the story than we are than what's actually happening in the moment. What I mean by that, so for example, if the story I tell myself is, I'm not good enough, I can't do it, it's too hard, I'm far more likely to act out of that story and give up with the challenge before me. However, if my story is, I am resourceful, I am resilient, I can find a way through this, I'm far more likely to act out of that story and push through and find that way. So our stories we tell ourselves are really powerful. I had a coaching client once, young guy, late 20s, very successful in his career, but his personal life was a mess because he could not move through a litany of broken relationships. And in lamenting this, he said this amazing thing to me. He said, Mark, my life is like watching the rerun of a bad movie. And I heard this and I said, wow, that is an amazing metaphor. Can we work with that? He wasn't sure what I meant, but I said, can we just play with this? And I partnered with him in the role of the director of that movie. Firstly, what would he change about how the movie played out? As a director, he had the ability to do that. We can choose what we would like to see happen in our life. We can choose to dream about what our story would be like. Secondly, he needed to look at the main character in this movie, which was him, and what he wanted to change about this character. What were the strengths of this character? What were the amazing qualities that this character possessed? He was focusing on the negative stuff about himself. What were the amazing things that he wanted to reinforce as part of the role of this character? Thirdly, he needed to look at what events he wanted to keep a part of the new movie, the good movie, and what ones he wanted to ditch or change. So it is with our lives. We can't change the past, but we certainly can choose to change the impact the past has on us. We can choose to focus on events that we celebrate and are thankful for and not focus on ones that are not helpful. And then related to that, he needed to choose which voices he wanted to be part of the new movie, the new story, and which ones he wanted to ditch. Not everyone that speaks into our life is a helpful voice. Let me share something with you. A young Walt Disney, before he was famous, was once fired as a newspaper journalist. Why? Wait for it, because he had no imagination or creativity and, wait for it again, had no original ideas. A young Oprah Winfrey, before she was famous, was demoted as a news anchor because she was not fit for television. Imagine if Walt and Oprah had chose to give an airplay to those voices in their story. Imagine what they would have missed out on. Imagine what the world would have missed out on. We have to choose which voices we give airplay to or not. And then finally, as he was happy with the new story, the new plot, then he needed to anchor that. What needed to change in his self-talk that reinforced the qualities of this new character? What concrete action did he need to take to anchor this new story? It was just so beautiful to watch his state change and a sense of hope come again as he realised the empowering that he did have to do that. So let me recap. If there's something in your story of your life that you want to change, firstly, give yourself permission to dream. The only person you need permission from to dream is you. Secondly, look at the qualities that you want to reflect. Create a profile of you as you want you to be. What are the strengths? What are the amazing things? What are the beliefs that will empower you into the future, not limit you? Thirdly, what events do you want to focus on? The events that brought you to this place in your story. Which ones do you want to celebrate and undergird in the new story? Which ones do you want to not focus on? Which voices do you want to give airplay in your story? And which ones do you want to say, I am choosing not to give airplay to that voice anymore? And then finally, how will you anchor this new story? What is your self-talk? What is I am? I can? What are the words that come out of your mouth that will reflect who you are and who you want to be? And what concrete action can you take to anchor and reinforce this new story so that it becomes part of your memory structure and you act out of that story? You know, the era of COVID-19 will go down as a defining moment in history. It's a challenging time, but it will end. It will end. It will stop. It will end. And beyond it, we will all be living in the new normal. What story do you want to live out in this new normal? What story will undergird a compelling and fulfilling future for you?